Yo, what is up, everybody? Hold on, let me get this right. There it is. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Ramblin' Raiders live show. We're doing the recap of the Texas Tech versus Oklahoma State game. A lot to unpack here, a lot to discuss, but I want to thank y'all for joining us. Go ahead and comment in the chat. Let's get that going. We had a lot of fun with it last week, and so I want to hear, what kind of questions y'all have, and we want to talk it up, man. Going into the bye week, there's just a lot to unpack moving forward, especially when the first thing we're going to talk about tonight in the QB position. So this is EP 164, guys. You're going to be able to hear it on Apple Pod and Spotify as well. If you would rather do that instead of watching on the YouTube channel, this is some premium Texas Tech content. Anyone who listens to the Ramblin' Raiders knows you're going to get that premium Texas Tech content with a few laughs, maybe some questionable takes, some terrible takes, and then you're also going to get a couple of these as well. The vintage beer crack, man, because why not on a Monday? Also, why not why not after a loss against a rival in the Dust Bowl as well? Garrett Smith Music, y'all set an atomic bomb. Oh, I'm about to get to that in a minute, man. I mean, I'm still over here. I can't even refresh it fast enough. I got so many UT fans in my mentions, and we've had a lot of fun. I say I've had a lot of fun. And then our Rambling group text has been going off too. Everyone's screenshotting and laughing at some of these delusional Longhorns. But what else can you expect? But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that today. What's up, Garrett? Thanks for joining the chat. Yeah, guys. So premium tech content. We're a part of the Guns Up Nation network. We're partnered with Guns Up Nation. Social media, you can find us on Twitter at Ramblin' Raiders. Our Instagram's at Ramblin' Raiders. Our Facebook page is the Ramblin' Raiders podcast, and then our TikTok, which is up and coming, is going to, I believe, is also at Ramblin' Raiders. So pretty universal there, easy to follow. Most importantly, guys, if you haven't already, if you could drop us a sub down there, that little bell icon over here. God, I always get turned around, man, with this, down there somewhere with this, computer and how it's backwards according to us. Me and Lane always struggle with that. But yeah, hit that bell down there somewhere in the general area. Drop us a sub. We're going to be doing a lot more visual, and we have been doing a lot more visual content. So we love bringing that to you guys. Almost to 300. Go ahead and hit that, hit that sub button, hit that thumbs up, like button if you enjoy, the content that we're putting out, and then leave us a comment and let us know how we're doing. We always appreciate the feedback. Okay, enough of the Twilight Zone. I love it. Rock out with your talk out. What up, Cam? We will be doing that very soon on TikTok. But yeah, enough of this, the Twilight Zone computer, feedback that I'm getting here. Let's go ahead and get right into it. What y'all want to discuss tonight, what we're here to talk about. And that is, recapping that 41-31, I believe, loss to number 7 Oklahoma State in Stillwater. A lot of mixed emotions with this game. I'm really proud of the way the team battled overall. But, once again, right, just the same kind of as it was in Manhattan against Kansas State, you're leading pretty late in this game and you have a chance to really, I'll just put it this way before we break it all down. You had a chance to win. This was a very winnable game for Tech, which says a lot about this coaching staff, about where they have this program headed. So I'm proud of the way the boys battled, but also it's we're so close to getting over that hump. And so I can't wait to see how we respond on the back half of the season here with 6 games left in conference and being able to win some of those close games maybe on the road. We've proven we can do it at home. Can we find a way to do it on the road? That will be the ultimate question. But, yeah, guys, tough loss, game that you were in, back and forth. My instant reactions to this, Behren Morton is the future QB. And hold on, I want to see. Let me get that right. Behren Morton is on everybody's mind, right? Everyone's been talking about him, talking about the performance that he put on. In my opinion, he is the future quarterback of this program. We learned that in the first half. It's pretty I think, apparent to anyone who was watching that game intently and saw kind of the way our offense moved, the way Morton was able to kind of make certain throws downfield that we haven't quite seen yet, at least from Donovan Smith. I know we haven't really got to see much of Shuck, and I'm sure he's capable, but his pocket awareness for such a young kid, his ability to move before he got hurt, and then also getting the ball out quick. He just seems to fit this mold. This is nothing against Donovan, a slight to Donovan Smith. D1 caliber, excellent quarterback who's also going to develop and be, better than he's already been as he gets older, throughout his career. But with Behren Morton, you just felt that Zach Kittley's offense was running the way it should run, right? So Behren Morton, he's the QB of the future. I'll go ahead and say it right now. I think all three of our quarterbacks are talented, but I just have some questions as to maybe why we haven't been giving this kid a shot earlier in the year, because clearly he's very capable. Also, why do the QB gods hate us, man? I mean, I was talking to my wife, bless her heart, who went to Texas A&M. I've kind of forced her to become a Tech fan, over the years that we dated and now that we're married. And so she watches a lot of Tech. She loves Tech basketball, loves Tech baseball, and loves Tech football. I will say mainly because we don't play A&M, but she's a big Tech. She hates A&M basketball, says she can't stand it. Loves Tech basketball, but big fan of the Aggies. She watches a lot of Tech games with me, and she's even pointed out, guys, she hasn't been watching them as long as we have, in the early years of the Kingsbury era, or when I was at Tech. But she tells me, she's like, y'all have the worst luck with quarterbacks, and it's true, man. We cannot keep QBs healthy in any sense of the word, man, since all the way back Mahomes was banged up. I mean, early in the Kingsbury tenure with Baker Mayfield getting kind of beat up there and having to sit out, which caused the whole controversy, Davis Webb. It's been a cluster, man. I don't know who we pissed off, what kind of karma's out there in the universe, but we got to pull that away. We ended the curse of the pirate. Let's be done with this curse of the quarterbacks, because we got to keep these guys healthy. Tech, I said it earlier, Tech led for a good portion of this game and once again had their chance to put it away, just didn't make the plays necessary on the road to beat a very good Oklahoma State team. And then lastly, for my kind of instant reactions here, if Tech can get healthy in the bye week, I'm optimistic. I was kind of going back and forth actually with our friends over at the Tortillas and Takes podcast this morning, kind of talking about expectations and where we're at. I think that this team is more than capable of making a bowl game. I'll even go as far to say not making a bowl game. And this, again, I'm not saying fire McGuire and we're not going down that path. I love the direction the program's in. I think we are, the vibe is different. This is a different era, different culture, different climate. It's all been great. But I'm just saying, and I'm sure they would tell you the same thing. Going 5-7 with what we've seen this season would be a disappointing outcome to me. This team has the coaching staff. They have the caliber of players. We are so talented or have a lot of talent, I should say, on both sides of the ball. I know we're weak in some position groups, but 6-6 is very doable to me. In fact, I would say that's kind of where I'm setting the bar at. I think this team can go 7-5, honestly, and with 4 home games against, with the exception of maybe Baylor, Kansas. I know it's so hard for me to believe in Kansas, but winning 4 games, winning 3 games shouldn't be a something that's unachievable. I think this team has a shot to compete with everybody left on their schedule, home and away. Okay, guys, let's talk about some big takeaways from this game. And I want to start, let me check the chat real quick. Being an Aggie Tech fan is the best, worst sports lifestyle. I know. Garrett, yeah, man, me and my wife watching the Tech game, then went to the Alabama A&M game, which, dude, I was rooting for the Aggies in that one because Bama, I mean, they turned it over so many times, missing those field goals. They deserved to lose that game. I cannot believe Jimbo, dude. That's the play. What's his contract buyout or whatever, like $70 million. That's what $70 million gets you, a half-ass junior high out route to your best receiver and an untimed throw from the quarterback. I was hurting for the Aggies on that one. That's why I'm against starting Morton, our O-line, until our O-line improves. Okay, Cam, so this is a good point. I'm going to get into that later. Our O-line, and granted, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt in the sense of the last 3 defensive lines we've played in conference, UT, Oklahoma State, and Kansas State, debatably are I'll go ahead and say top 4 D lines in the conference, in my opinion, unless I'm, from what I've seen. I'm not saying other teams don't have capable front lines, but we're talking just elite level, pass rushing from those three teams, and so our O line's been up against the back against the wall, up against the gauntlet. I get that, and I think that they will continue to improve as the year goes on. But I'm with you. I mean, it's part of the I'm talking earlier about the quarterback injuries has been part of taking sacks, taking hits you shouldn't because of subpar O line play. So we got to keep recruiting offensive line, man, and get those guys rolling in the right direction. Miller Light Break. I'll get to the UT Twitter comment, Garrett, here in a bit. But yeah, I needed a beer after that one, man. I set them boys off today with a little bit of slander that I'll, get into the ironic part of all that here later on. Okay, guys. So where was I? Oh yeah, biggest takeaway. Whoa, where'd my outline go? There it is. Biggest takeaways from this game, and I'm going to start with what's on everybody's mind, what everyone's been talking about, quarterback play, Behren Morton. Let's talk about the QB situation at Texas Tech. Our offense, as I mentioned earlier, looked the best it has all season. I say that confidently, unless you want to maybe throw Murray State in there, which still doesn't outweigh what we saw in that first half, in that first half of football. That was the Zach Killy offense that, we were sold on, the Western Kentucky offense he's been running, HBU offense, putting up crazy numbers with Billy Zappi. We got to see it in at its peak, in full force in this game with Behren Morton running the show. That was it took me back to the air raid, the Kingsbury Leach days. It was fun to watch. Really effective, and Behren Morton shined before he got banged up and got hit in the knee. I'm gonna dub him Air Morton now. I've seen a couple different names floating around. I like Air Morton. You can comment with maybe another name you like for him, but Air Morton seems to be the ideal fit for this offense. He gets the ball out quick, which I love, and I was talking so much trash about these screenplays. Now I see why Kitley likes to run them, because if you get it out quick enough, they're effective, right? You can get 4 yards on a first down, or if you need 2 or 3 on second or third, whatever. It gets those little short chunk yardage that you need to set yourself up for runs, slants, whatever. Kitley's got cooked up in his game plan. Behren gets the ball out quicker. He had better pocket presence. I will say he did, that fumble, we were very lucky to get back, threw the interception late, tried to squeeze it into some tight windows. I'm not saying that the young man's not going to, get better over the years. He's got things he can work on, things he can improve upon, but he's young, man. He's a redshirt freshman. That's kind of natural, right? And with Donovan Smith, his biggest hindrance, and I would say what everyone would, point out with him, is turning the ball over. And so at least, Morton only turned it over once, could have almost maybe twice, but at the end of the day, almost, don't really matter when it comes to the wins and loss column and who's playing better. So yeah, I thought, he really put on a show. He fits the system better, and I liked his pocket awareness. I liked his, scramble ability, making up that word. But yeah, his ability to scramble, get out of the pocket, make a move. He's quick. He's a little bit faster than Smitty Johns. Obviously, Donovan Smith's bigger, and he's going to be able to take, truck and take, more hits when it comes to running the ball. But yeah, ultimately, Behren Morton, great first half. And then he still really got after it through the one pick, and I think he had like 100 and something yards, drove us down the field in the second half, but his game got hindered, and I think Zach Kitley's his play calling changed because of that injury, which was really unfortunate, because if we get Behren Morton from the first half and the second half, watch out, man. Literally anything is we could be going home with a dub, but we're not going to say that because we're not UT fans, okay? It's not, Quinn Ayers starts the whole season, we're 5-0 going to the national championship. We're not those guys. We take our lumps, no excuses, but injuries do suck. Okay. I'll say this, guys. I know that the coaches came out and said that Smith had a shoulder injury, and I understand why they do that, right? They have to put on appearances for the media, for fans. They're going to have to say things and dress things up in a certain way to avoid the awkward questions and everything of that nature. So I get why they did that. I support them saying that. It's not again an indictment on our coaching staff. However, the fact that he came into the game on 2 plays that I know of, there might have been more. If y'all remember any more, let me know. Yeah, I can see a little bit of young Mahomes and Morton, dude. My dad said it while we were watching the game. Shout out Kobe Moat, man. Hope you're doing well, brother, with Guns Up. He's our Guns Up Nation graphics connoisseur, man. He does amazing works with videography. Kobe, good to see him. But yeah, man, to your point, sorry, y'all know I'm super ADD and we'll get distracted here. Yes, my dad was saying watching the game, he reminds me of Graham Harrell, but he can actually move and run. I'm like, dude, that's about as high as praise as you can get. Looks, has that kind of Mahomes. I was even gonna say, it kind of gives me that Manziel vibe. Dude's just a gamer, can make plays, and he's got a live arm. Mia, Morton, and Kitley are a match made in football heaven, no doubt. And again, I'm not even, people are thinking, oh yeah, y'all are just everyone's writing off Donovan Smith. I'm not writing off Donovan Smith. I think he's a high caliber D1 player, D1 quarterback. I just don't know. And this is a question we brought up earlier in the year, actually preseason. Lane and I talked about it. Does he fit? Once they named Chuck the starter, we thought, after the year he had winning the bowl game, is it because he doesn't, maybe his game and style doesn't fit Zach Kitley's offense? I think we kind of saw that, right, on Saturday. So nothing against Smitty Johns, but you're right. Morton and Kitley, I mean, y'all, that first half was fun. That was fun as hell to watch. It was poetic. Like Mia said, it's a match made in heaven. It was the offense that we promised with the best quarterback recruit we've had since Graham Harrell. It was awesome, guys. So, anyways, let's talk about, back to my point about the fact that they played Donovan Smith on 2 plays, one of them at receiver, which all you're going to do in that situation is either block, catch it and try to make a move, or I guess they could have done like a wide receiver pass. But whatever you're going in there to do in that slot receiver position is probably going to involve, like I said, blocking, throwing, or running, and potentially lowering your shoulder, involving that shoulder area, which is what the coaching staff was saying, or what the injury report had him as. It was a shoulder issue. So the fact they played him on that, and then the second play was the play that actually I didn't hate it. The execution was obviously terrible. That DN for Oklahoma State made a play. I kind of almost wish Smith would have just ran it, but y'all know which one I'm talking about. On the goal line, 3rd down, really could have used a touchdown there to kind of help push some momentum even further in the right direction. And we do that little fake run, jump pass thing, and but putting him in on both those plays. The point I'm getting at is that I don't. How do I say that? I'm not sure if he's as injured as they're like, as maybe the coaching staff wants us to think he is, right? It makes me wonder about the severity of this injury. If you're going to put him in on 2 plays, that tells me clearly he's ready. Yeah, he's in there and he can take a hit. So I get why they do it. I get for appearance's sake, for on a surface level, you have to say this. You have to avoid that kind of awkwardness right there in the press conference room. But I think this was a smart move on the coaching staff's part, right? Oklahoma State's been game planning for Donovan Smith all week. All of a sudden, you change it up on him. But I think they did it intentionally because, they wanted to see what Morton can do. They knew that Oklahoma State's defensive line was going to be blitzing the hell out of us, was going to bring a lot of pressure. They needed a QB who could get it out quick, maybe get through those progressions a little faster, make those reads downfield. And they felt that guy was Behren Morton. So with Donovan Smith, I think he was available. I'll just say that if you're going to put him in for those 2 plays, clearly he's available to play. And I kind of question the severity of the injury, which leads me to kind of the next point here, guys. And I'll go ahead and ask the question. Now we got to talk about it. Why was Donovan Smith playing over Behren Morton this whole time? This is something that Lane and I really wanted to unpack. I wish he could have been on this episode, but he's out hooping right now, man, trying to, the 9-to-5 league, YMCA league, trying to get a triple double back there in Friendswood. So hopefully they're getting a dub tonight. But he had a really good kind of thought process in line of questioning with, this whole time I've been sitting here going, and I believe in Kitley, I believe in Coach McGuire, I trust his coaching staff, but my at least rationale behind, hey, Donovan Smith is playing in front of Behren Morton because he's that much better in practice. He's a gamer. They see, Morton's got deficiencies in this area. He's too young. He's not ready. I trust him. Yada yada. I went on and on and on, and that was kind of my cop out because people were asking last week, why don't we give Morton a shot? Why don't we try him out? And I'm sitting there saying I trust the coaches. I do. It's their call. They see it every day in practice. Clearly, there's something there. After what we witnessed in Oklahoma State, I think it's a fair question to ask, and I don't know the answer. I have a couple potential theories as to what it could be, But overall, I don't know, man. I am questioning why we, again, not Donovan Smith is a capable QB, but when you look at these two guys, in my opinion, their ceilings, Behren Morton's ceiling, guys, is just higher than we've seen in a long time. From any, I think out of anyone in this Texas Tech, the QB room right now, and hell, out of Texas Tech quarterbacks we've seen, excluding Mahomes and yeah, really Mahomes, going all the way back to maybe Graham Harrell. I mean, his upside is scary good, and I think that was put on display, and it made me wonder if we're gonna invest in somebody for the future. It's Behren Morton. I mean, I'm sorry, these two guys are super close in age. I think you're gonna have to pick or choose at some point with the way the portal works and the way transferring happens all the time now in college football. Why are we not investing more into Behren Morton? These are just some thoughts I had, theories about maybe why they're doing it and why I can understand, make it understandable and have it make sense. But, reasons could be that they saw the value in Morton, sitting behind Tyler Shuck. And then when he got hurt, just thought maybe he's too young. He's not quite ready, because I do believe in the value of truly getting a year or two behind an experienced QB who knows what they're doing, watching them work through the offense and learning from that standard and that example that they set, right? There's a lot of value to that. And maybe Behren Morton, they wanted him to continue to watch and thought Donovan Smith was kind of higher up there. And so I could see going into the season why it would be Shuck and they'd have Morton kind of waiting in the wings. I don't know if it was just hey, man, this guy's won us. He got us to a bowl game last year by beating Oklahoma State, playing the Big 12 champions to a field goal, and then winning a bowl game. And they were like, we got to reward him. We got to let him, at least go out there and prove that it's not his spot, which I think that would be a little bit questionable. And then maybe Morton's just not in practice. Maybe he's not showcasing what he's doing, what he did in the first half against Oklahoma State. Maybe it's not quite there. The reads, the understanding of the offense, the progressions, everything like that. So practice can make a big difference. Maybe Donovan Smith, those lights just come on a little bit more for him in practice. But I do wonder what the answer is, and I think it's fair to ask the question. I mean, to this point in time, kind of what was the difference maker to not have Behren Morton start? Because ultimately, guys, and this is going to be hard. I mean, this is just something I think needs to be said. I was going to bring it up a little later in the tonight's podcast, but these two guys are so close in age. They're so close in age, with Behren being a redshirt freshman and Donovan Smith being a sophomore. Again, with the way college football works nowadays, the days of BJ Simons and who was Sonny Cumbie and Cody Hodges, where they wait their turn and then they dominate their last year because they've learned it all and they're ready to go. Those days are over, man. When someone's capable and not getting the playing time that they think they need, they can transfer out and go get that somewhere else. We see it happen all the time. Again, I hope that doesn't happen. I think all three of these guys, I think Donovan Smith and Behren Morton are both fantastic QBs. I really do. And I hope that they both stick around for as long as we can have them, that they stay through. But ultimately, again, I'll look into Chef's crystal ball here. The way it works with how close these guys are in age and with both their talents, they're going to want their shot, to play and start for this team when Tyler Shuck's done. And so I think it's pretty inevitable that one of these two guys is going to transfer. Again, hope that doesn't happen, not endorsing that to happen. I'm just saying that's more than likely what's going to happen with the way college football is. Of these two guys, they've both been extremely capable, but when you look at Zach Killy and what we're trying to run, what he's best at in that true fast-paced air raid, that fast-paced style with the true air raid, Behren Morton to me is your future. He's the future quarterback. We saw that tonight. And so at some point, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to have to invest. You're going to have to put your eggs on one side or the other. You're going to have to make it pretty definitive. Hey, this is the guy this is our guy, and it's a little early for that. Maybe they can wait off a little bit longer to the end of this year. But I think you got to be fair, and you got to the players, to the fans, everything, and you got to go one way or another ultimately down the road. And I hope, and I say this kind of in the thought process of saying, and in the hopes that we don't lose both guys or Behren Morton because we kind of played around and just said, oh, 3 quarterbacks, we're going to use them all and this and that. Like, I just don't want to see Behren Morton transfer. I don't think that he will. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but let's not take any unnecessary chances. Also, and I'll get to the chat. No loyalty anymore. My only thought is hey, we've seen that in basketball, haven't we, Cam? Mia, my only thought is he needed the pressure of a game to fully show what he could do. Yeah, I mean, that, again, there could be sort of a difference in practice. He's just not, like, the lights don't come on like they do in a game. He's young, and he needed that, like you said, that pressure to kind of come through and perform. I'm sure something was there, but when you look at these guys' ceilings I'll say it like this, look at their ceilings within a Zach Kitley offense. I mean, to me, it's Behren Morton, man. He's the guy. Hey, keep commenting in the chat, guys, and ask any questions that you might have. Love the feedback here. Okay, but yeah, lastly, guys, I'll say by starting Morton, I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Marty. You know what? I just got done watching Ozarks like a couple weeks ago, so maybe it's Morty. I promise moving forward, it's just going to be either Morton or Air Morton, one of the two. Coming up here, hashtag Air Morton. We'll get a copyright on that since we know that you got to be careful about your hashtags these days. But by starting Morton against OSU, Air Morton against OSU, trademark Ramblin' Raiders, Tech has opened themselves up to the question as to who should be, the starting quarterback if everyone is healthy. They've kind of opened up this quarterback chaos, questioning, sort of debacle. If you got 3 guys and Morton, young and capable as he is, Shuck healthy, I think everyone would understand if you started Shuck when he got back. But by playing Morton in this game, I think also Texas Tech, the coaches have opened themselves up to, I mean, you're setting yourself up for now if all 3 are healthy, there's going to be fans questioning, why isn't he playing? Why isn't this happening? So it's that also should tell you that playing Morton in that game was pretty important to this coaching staff, to his development. And then, I already told you about the transfer part. But yeah, I mean, going forward, guys, I think Shuck is more than likely probably going to be if he's healthy, going to be your starter, which I can't speak. I mean, it's so hard to speak to Shuck. I think that obviously him being the starter with the talent we have with Smith and Morton is a testament to where he was at before he got hurt. I just hadn't seen enough of him. I hadn't seen him play enough besides 3 games last year and then Murray State this year, right? And so it's hard to tell. However, if he's healthy, I expect he'd be the safe play for sure. Now, if he goes in there and starts blowing it against West Virginia or I have to take a look at our schedule out, Kansas, Baylor, in the upcoming weeks, I think fans are going to expect and kind of hope that you have a pretty short leash when you got Behren Morton, if he's healthy, not on a bum ankle. We saw, I mean, that kid is absolutely the definition of West Texas tough, of a fighter. I mean, he played through that pain, played through that injury, and kid showed his grit, showed his tenacity. But if he's fully healthy and you got Shuck underperforming, having a bad game, I think you're going to see fans, I believe fans are going to call pretty early on, hey man, put Morton in. The dude he's the future. Let's get him going. So kind of opened yourself up to a little bit of a quarterback debacle there, if you will. If all 3 are healthy right now, I don't know, who's healthier than who. It's kind of a waiting game, but hopefully Shuck's ready to go, and I think Shuck would be the safe, the obvious safe play if he's healthy and can sling it against West Virginia. So, okay, guys. Oh yeah, that was kind of the biggest takeaway here. Any questions y'all have with Morton? Let's see, Bear Raid, Pete Christie. Bear Raid, that's an interesting one. Yeah, man, we'll see you, Garrett, at the tailgate coming up. Shout out, we'll plug down a little bit. We're doing a tailgate, Ramblin' Raiders tailgate for the TCU Tech game coming up here in a couple weeks. Yeah, guys, Pete Christie, Bear Raid. I'm an Air Morton guy, but hey, I don't hate it. It's definitely not bad. Okay, another big takeaway from this game. This is 2 games in a row that you've had the lead late, chance to put your foot on their necks, and they just haven't been able to capitalize. I believe this team is extremely close to getting over that hurdle, and I thought it was kind of telling, when Coach McGuire brought that up and said it's frustrating to him because you're going through this gauntlet of a schedule, but you're so close. I mean, and we have been, and I know you can make the argument maybe against UT and OU that you're so close to also losing those games, but all 3 of them, NC State, Kansas State, and Oklahoma State. And I'm laughing because I'm sitting there going, all three. I don't know if K-State quite cracked the top 15. All three are close to top 50, or the top 15, with Oklahoma State being a top 10 at 7. You're on the road against great defenses, tough environments, and you're still in every single game. I mean, that's a testament to the culture, the testament to the direction of this program. But even McGuire said it in his postgame presser. We're right there. He goes, we're so close to getting over that hump. It's just doing executing on a few things, making that the little differences in this game of inches that we know to get you over the hump and get you that W at the end of the day. So McGuire feels it, the fans feel it. We're close. We're close, y'all. Absolutely. And so, but again, it's. I hope we have two away games left this season. One at TCU, which away game. 2 away games left this season. One at Iowa State, one at TCU. I say TCU loosely because it's really more of a neutral site game with the way we absolutely populate and pretty much own their stadium. So you hope that in one of these 2 games, with Iowa State looking kind of down this year, especially that you're going to be able to close out and finish those tough games on the road. We've been battle tested, that's for sure, but it's frustrating with how we've played, knowing that we're right there. And I think it's a sign, though, that things are moving in the right direction. This is a talented team that still has a lot that they can go out and prove this year, guys. Hell, you win. I mean, there's a lot of football left to be played. And again, I think this team has the talent, the coaching talent, the capability of winning 7 games. I'm not saying it's going to be a drop in the bucket. It's going to be super easy, but absolutely, dude, we have played. And y'all aren't going to like this. I think we've played 2 of the teams that are going to be playing in the college football, in the Big 12 championship. I'll get to that a little bit later on because I don't want to totally, turn y'all off with that guess, that assumption that I'm making. But we've played debatably with maybe TCU and KU, Baylor. I mean, those 3 teams, I wouldn't put them above the 3 teams we've already played. We have been battle tested. In the back half of the schedule is going to be a lot easier. So we just got to learn to close out games. I love Coach Beans on Twitter had a quote. I need to go back and find it so I can make sure I don't butcher it. But it was something about, this year this team is scrappy. Next year they're going to be scary. And I still think we can do a lot of good and get have momentum. Going out this year in a solid bowl game with 7 or 8 wins. But I'm absolutely with Coach Beans too. We're moving in the right direction, guys. It's a great time to be a part of the Texas Tech football program, despite what these UT fans are saying on Twitter at me right now. So we should be, thankful for that. I got to do a shout out to Oklahoma State in this one, guys, and the way they played, especially late in this game, but throughout. Sanders, he's not the Sanders we saw in Lubbock. I guess that was 3 years ago when they dropped an L to Matt Wells in his first year. Not the same Spencer Sanders, man. He's Tucker down there getting fired up. He's not the same quarterback, man. I mean, had poise, didn't make mistakes late in this game, made some really crazy throws. And then to complement that, which, again, we talked about it on the rip, Lane and I made this a point of emphasis, their receivers. I'm not going to go through and name all of them, but the guys we talked about on the rip, I mean, these dudes made some insane grabs. Insane grabs. And it wasn't just 1 or 2. It was like 5 or 6 catches where you're sitting there on 3rd and long, 4th and long, 4th and short, and you're going, how is that guy making that catch, man? I mean, it's a testament to their offense. This is a good Oklahoma State team. Lane also touched, I think we both did, but I know Lane made a real big point of emphasis and named out a couple of their players on the D-line. But that front 7, which proved, I mean, it absolutely proved to be a lot for Texas Tech's O-line to handle in this game, especially when Morton was banged up. Second half, it completely changed the flow of the O when Morton could not escape the pressure that they were sending. That first half, we were able to get it out quick on screens, quick passes, kind of open up the run game by having them, move players out of the box, not fill up the box. And then late in that game, they were able to just jam it in there and stop the run, and it was tough for us. So, tale of 2 halves, but, I mean, really, Oklahoma State's defensive line gave us fits late and caused a lot of problems. This is a good Oklahoma State team. I think that they are going to be playing in the college, why do I keep wanting to say college football playoffs? They're going to be playing in college football's best conference, top to bottom this year's Big 12 championship game. How about that? I think that's where my mind's trying to go. They're going to be, I think, playing in the Big 12 championship this year, man. They might drop one, but this is a good team. They're just solid all the way around. They'll be a really tough out for anyone. I'm proud that we played them as close as we did. And again, testament to those receivers that we touched on the rip, the front seven, and then Spencer Sanders he's balling out, man. He's playing a lot better. It just shows what a veteran quarterback can do with you once they get some experience. He's a good player. Lastly, guys, I want to take a minute to appreciate the gauntlet Texas Tech football has gone through over these last couple games. I wonder how long. Oh, yeah, okay, we got pretty good timing right now. You'd always think that these would be a little bit shorter since it's just me, but then again, I could talk to these white walls about Texas Tech football, Texas Tech anything, so they end up being longer than they should. Gundy has nothing but comment from Cam Nix. Gundy has nothing but respect for us. If you watched his, oh yeah, man, I like Gundy. I do. I think he's always. I mean, I know he's had moments and everything, but I think he's a good coach. I think he respects Tech. I know he respects Morton. I know y'all saw that comment about the what year is he? A true freshman. He's like, that's not good. He is not excited about playing Behren Morton in the future. I'll tell you that. But yeah, no problem with Gundy. A lot of respect for him. I think he's they're going to roll in Bedlam this year. They got a really good shot at playing for the championship again, and for their sake, hopefully getting redemption. But let's take a minute just to appreciate. This has been the hardest run Tech has had in football since I can remember. I've been a fan for 30 years. 30, roughly. I know those younger years where you don't have any memory of anything. It's you're still dressed up. Your parents, my dad had me with the jerseys on and everything. So a lifer. We'll just say that lifelong fan, but cognitively 22 to 23 years watching Texas Tech. This is the hardest schedule I've ever seen us go through. Truly, I know 2002 was tough. The year we played Oklahoma State and Ohio State, and NC State in one year was a tough year, obviously. But this has been brutal, guys. 5, ranked opponents. I think UT is going to be ranked before it's all said and done. I mean, I think I saw them in the AP. They're top 20. So besides U of H, teams that are still ranked, 2 teams that are undefeated, NC State with 1 loss, and with Texas with 1 loss to the number 1 team in the nation, and then your Red Raiders. So grueling schedule. 3 games on the road, 2 back-to-back. Earlier when I said Texas Tech's a 6-7 win team, I still wholeheartedly believe that. I want us to also understand that this coaching staff, we should be, proud, guys, honestly. And year 1, what they've done, I think to this point in the season, if you go back and ask anybody, you're 3-3 and this is your schedule, these are where these teams are ranked, going into those matchups, you would take 3-3 in a heartbeat. It's crazy. It could have been 4-2, could have been 5-1, could have been 2-4. They've been just absolutely chaotic, tumultuous games. With the difference being home and away. We've won all of them at home, lost all of them on the road. But moving forward, this is a bowl team. They've been battle tested. This schedule's been absolutely insane. We should be proud of this coaching staff for what they've done to this point. Just a grueling. I would love to see what our, I don't know what it's called, FPI or something, but the rank of our strength of schedule going into this year, I would say it's got to be top shit. I would say top 10, but probably top 5. I can't imagine too many people having a tougher schedule than Texas Tech has so far. So, Big 12 is stacked top to bottom. I think we're the best, again, top to bottom conference in college football right now. It's not going to be easy, but we're very capable, and that says a lot about the program and the talent we have on this roster and the guys we have with the headsets on coaching these young men. So a lot to look forward to. Y'all, I'm going to get into some performances of the game, starting with defense, but y'all ask any questions you might have, guys, before we kind of talk about that and get close to wrapping it up here. Any questions about the game, anything you want to discuss, who played well, kind of the plays that shifted the momentum to you. Shifted the momentum of the game away from us, when it kind of push came to shove there late in Stillwater. I will say kind of a one last note. Saw some people kind of giving Kitley a hard time for the Donovan Smith play, getting cued on 3rd down. I can get behind that, justify that criticism. Late in the game, and I was one of them before I went back and watched tape and kind of analyzed it and thought to myself, we went away from what was going well for us in the first half, right? Morton was able to, hit guys in stride. I think we were able to utilize the middle of the field even a little bit better early in the game, we went away. We did not throw it down the seams. I don't know if we did at all in the second half. We didn't try to throw it in the seams or on any slants, utilizing the middle of the field at all in that game. But all that to be said, when Morton got hurt, and clearly he was hurt, he was not 100%. He couldn't move the same way. He couldn't run like he was in the first half, which is so frustrating, when you want to sit there and think what could have been. But we had to run the ball more. I think late in the game, especially, I know the one that pissed me off was the 3rd and 4th down where you go for it on 4th and you just run back-to-back plays to SaRodorick, and they're blowing us up. They packed the box. We couldn't get any push. Despite SaRodorick having a great game overall, wasn't able to, we were not running the ball effectively at that time, but I think Kitley had to go to the run more in the second half because Morton was limited. And so there's always something that you got to, something you need to kind of put away and think about of, this is the reasoning behind that, or there's usually rationale to explain. So that was part of it. I think the injury changed the complete flow, the complete dynamic of what we were doing in that game in the second half. And so that's kind of what, ultimately why I think we ran the ball more, why we, stopped dropping Morton back and trying to have him kind of, go through reads and look downfield was probably because the pressure was going to get to him and he wasn't going to have the escapability that he had in the first half. So tough, but understandable. I will say I do understand the criticism on bringing Smith in. The execution, I think it was there, right? But I don't know. That's you are getting a little bit cute there, and maybe that's just not not the most effective way to go about that. So I'm gonna let Kitley make that call, but I do understand why fans will be upset about it. Okay, big performances, and let me talk. See in the chat real quick. Does Joey Cheesesteaks make a play for Rule, who got canned? I think he's absolutely on the phone. I think he called him. If you can get, really, there's no reason not to. Why not take a shot at it? Excuse me. I don't think Matt Rule. I'm 40. Love that. I don't think Matt Rule would take that job necessarily. I think he's got a great relationship with with Joey McGuire, obviously, but I don't know. You go from an NFL coach, you're going to come back and do that. Would be interesting. But yes, I believe he's called him. He's obviously floated it by him. And if you can put him in kind of a Gary Patterson type role, what Gary Patterson's doing for UT, throw some money at him, dude. Let's get the boosters going. Let's start donating, start the GoFundMe, whatever it takes. We get Matt Rule on the staff, I think you're going to start seeing some rapid change and just escalation when it comes to how good this team performs on the field and the trajectory. It's going to be a night and day switch, man. The trajectory of this program and our win rate is going to skyrocket. So if you can get Rule and staff, absolutely, man. And I think he's already given him a call 100%. Will he actually follow through and come to Tech? I doubt it, but yes, give him a call. You should have given him a call the minute that broke. Okay, y'all, here we go. Remember to, if you haven't already, guys, hit that bell. Tell your, any Texas Tech friends, family, let them know, subscribe. This is Ramblin' Raiders. This is the most premium Texas Tech content you're going to find out there. All original thoughts and let me just throw that out there. All original thoughts and content. And, we're very, independent when it comes to that. So join, hit that, subscribe button, leave us a like and a comment. But yeah, guys, we're going to keep growing this brand, and we love what we're doing. And I think we've seen a lot of great growth over the last, really since football season started. And that's a testament to the content we're putting out. So we're going to keep grinding for y'all because we love our viewers, our listeners, and we want to make sure we're giving y'all some A1 content. That's the Ramblin' Raiders stamp of approval and guarantee right there. Okay, performances of the game. Starting on defense, Rashad Williams. I'm going to shout out our boy Carl, campus ambassador, Ramblin' Raiders ambassador. He pointed it out in the chat, and Lane and I during the game were like, man, Rashad Williams he's having a good year, but dude, he had a great game. Was all over the field, had some huge momentum, pass breakups. He had 5 pass deflections on the game, which is incredible. And he is really starting to separate himself amongst this Texas Tech secondary as, potentially our best guy because he, you don't want to throw to his side. They tried to put him on an island a couple times, and there was just, he was not having it, man, and was all over these very talented, very capable Oklahoma State receivers. Rashad Williams, gets my game ball of the week on the defensive side. Muddy Waters, man, also had 5 tackles in this game. One was, a big play that he hit him in the backfield for a loss. He flies around, and I feel like he's improving and he's getting better. But he's been such a solid, consistent piece for us on that side of the ball. His experience is really showcasing through. He was quick. He's making plays, and he helped us in that second half make those stops that we needed to, where our offense just couldn't capitalize. Make those stops that really kept us afloat in this game. So love what Muddy Waters is bringing to the table. Friend of the Ramblin' Raiders podcast. Okay, offensively, let's switch it over. I talk about Oklahoma State receivers being hella talented. Let's talk about these Texas Tech receivers when you got Behren Morton slinging it in a true Zach Kittley-style offense. We got some talent on our side of the ball, guys, and some dudes who can straight up, flat out play, flat out go. That's freshman Bradley at a DeSoto High School. 8 catches for 119 yards and 1 touchdown. The one to start the game on that beautiful, just chef's kiss, beautiful drop dime from Behren Morton, man, right over the top back of the end zone. But I'll tell you what, this young gun has a lot of potential moving forward. He's tall. He knows how to use his frame. He's got good hands. He gives me like a Jared Hicks / I'm trying to think of TJ Vasher, although I think he'll end up ultimately being a lot better than TJ Vasher, but he's got that similar style of game. Some of the greats, man, Jared Hicks, Fulani, Leong. Sorry, I gotta make sure I get that right for Coach Leong, who's I know active amongst the Texas Tech Twitter sphere and amongst Texas Tech content outlets out there in the podcast. So all these guys, I just mentioned some of the greats. They have that tall, kind of lanky frame, could go up and get it. Hicks is one. That's a throwback. A lot of our younger listeners probably won't know about, but from the Leach days, 88. Go look at some of his highlights. Dude was a beast. Fulani's another one. He's got that tall frame, but he's quick, runs clean, crisp routes, and he's got good hands. This kid's got a bright future in football, especially at Texas Tech. I think if he keeps developing, he's got a shot to play on Sundays. Trey Cleveland, talked about him 3 weeks in a row now. Big play Trey. I forgot who. Someone commented that in the chat last week, so give them a shout out there. Big play Trey. Guy did it again. Anytime that there is a free play and they jump the line, I don't care where he's at on the field. I don't care what route he's running. Throw it to him because he's going to make a stupid, ridiculous grab. He did it again. He had 100 yards on 9 catches in this game. He needs to be targeted. We got to keep targeting this young man. I would almost say once every 8 plays, 6 to 8 plays on offense, I think you got to try to get it to this man because if he's open, he's going to make a grab. He's an absolutely electric player. He's got that clutch gene, that ice in his veins, baby. Xavier White had the other big stat line in this one. He's come on and I think stepping into really stepping into his own. He was already independently successful and great, but especially with Miles Price out in this game, debatably Texas Tech's most productive receiver. I think he really filled that gap, filled that role, and he's more than capable, man. Quick, kind of that scat slot receiver. Love him. Love that we have him on punt returns too. That was a great call. I think they actually, the coaches listen obviously to the podcast and are tuning into this live stream, so they heard us and they made the adjustment. It's okay that we didn't get the shout out, man. We know that in our heart we're all on the same page here. Love our coaching staff. So Xavier White, 8 catches, 62 yards, and he had a tutty as well, man. Give him a touchdown on the stat sheet. Those guys all played great. Feels like with Behren Morton as a quarterback, these dudes have the ability to really put up some scary stats moving forward this season. Thompson, let me pull him up real quick. I had him earlier. Just another big game. It seems like they've kind of gone. He's your primary guy now. They're handing it off to him more than Brooks' time, but. And I don't know if that's just he's the hot hand right now. I know they talk about enjoying, they like to ride the hot hand. But let's take a look at the box score here. Yeah, Thompson, 20 carries. Brooks only had 4 carries in this game, so that's a little bit telling right there. But 20 carries for Thompson, 87 yards, averaged a little over 4 with 1 touchdown with a long of 19. So Roderick had he played well with what what was given to him. I know Lane kind of wants him to. He's so good with the moves, man. He's hitting X, B, Y, Y, B, X, spin, juke, jump, cut, whatever you do, right? Like he's quick, he can dance. back there. But Lane was saying, man, there's some of those plays where he kind of hits him with that stutter step. He's like, dude, just run downhill, man, get it going. So I know that both these backs provide different skill sets, right? Like Brooks is kind of your between the tackles, straight downhill, and then Thompson's he's slippery out in the flat, slippery out in the open. So both these guys are capable, but they seem to be leaning on Thompson a little bit more. And then, oh yeah, so I told y'all his stats. There we go again with that ADD, baby. That's it's actually just made up. It's probably just too many of these. Just a made up word to make guys like me feel better whenever we're enjoying a nice cold one on the pod. Stu, what up? Oklahoma State versus TCU should be a banger. Absolutely, man. On the road, that one's going to be pretty nuts. A lot of good football being played next week. Bradley Marquez, yeah, I mean he's got that Bradley Marquez vibe to him. I just love his height; it's so great. From Cam, Cam Nix said Bradley Marquez, ask. Thanks, Maddie. Thanks for content. I was hooked after the first episode several months ago with how thoughtful and kind y'all were with guests. Anyway, keep up the great work. Thank you, Maddie. You know what? We really appreciate hearing that, man. We, I know we're a little bit different style, different brand, different. We have a different style. Just say that kind of swag than some of the other, podcasts. We do things a little bit differently, but we're proud of that fact, and I'm glad that you're enjoying our content, man. We always love to hear that positive feedback. So we're definitely going to keep it rolling in the right direction. Okay, here we go. Oh, Lane, look at that, man. Lane wants to talk. Hey, Lane, what's up, man? I'm on the live show right now. Are you calling in with a comment?
Oh shit! I just got done playing basketball.
Well, hey, man. I mean, I'm literally live on. This is Lane, guys. What you got? Anything you want to say real quick?
I'm gonna tell you, like, we played a pretty good basketball team, but I dropped like 40.
You guys hear that? Texas Tech might not have won, but Lane dropped 40, dude. The kid is back, man. Oh my God, and they somehow still lost the game, man. You hate to see it, dude. That's some like Behren Morton vibes, man. Putting up crazy stats, but not executing. So, anyways, man, I'll give you a call after this, dude. Everyone's commenting on the chat. They're like, "What the hell? What was Lane's laptop not charged?" All right, all right, bye. Hot takes, man. Timing's impeccable on everything he does. Okay, where was I? Thompson, yeah, another big game. And Stu actually helped us transition into the next part of this. Thank you, Maddie, again for the shout out. Week 6 in the Big 12, takeaways here and kind of let's take a look, maybe do some power ranking. Oklahoma State and TCU have definitely separated themselves. Kansas, I'd put them in a tier a little bit above K-State right now just because K-State's offense struggled. I mean, Capital, I had them in a teaser that inevitably hit. Thank God. I won't talk too much trash because they covered for the chef when it came to that, what some are deeming the teaser of our time. I mean, I get why they would, deem it that. But here we go, man. I mean, that game, sorry, I'm just thinking back to, some of the, yeah, man, never mind. I'm not even going to go down that road, not needing to do that. So, where was I? Yes, K-State defense is sus. Defense is hella sus, man. And so against Tech, Tech, he was able to run all over our defense. I know in the second half, Martinez, but boy, they struggled, and Iowa State game planned well for that one. So I'm going to say K-State's very capable. They're still, quality team that could potentially maybe finish with two losses, something like that, 3 losses. It's going to be interesting to see how they finish down the end, but I'm taking TCU and Oklahoma State up here with K-State. I hate to say it, guys. I think UT is in that mix with kind of, maybe K-State and Kansas. I'm not there on Kansas, man. I'm going to say it again. Well, Kansas is still in the middle of the pack to me. I think Tech's in the middle of the pack with Baylor. And then, above them you have, I think, UT, K-State, Oklahoma State, and TCU are kind of your four teams that you're really going to have to watch out for, man. I hate to say it, y'all, but I think I think Quinn Ewers is for real, which is, having him back is going to help them out a lot, and that they're a capable team. I'm not saying that, they'll run the table of what's left, but I think they're going to string together some success. Still, just shitty fan base, though, man, and I need to touch on that before I go. Anyways, yeah, I'll get to that in just a second. So, last but not least, Oklahoma is cheeks, dude. Cheeks, absolute toadstool, man. I mean, they're bad. Like, it's I tweeted something out that said, find me another win on the schedule. I'm not going to definitively say that that's probably what's going to happen. I think they can find a win at home against somebody They hadn't played West Virginia yet. They hadn't played, I don't know who else they got at home, but maybe West Virginia, Kansas at home. It'll be interesting to see. Oh yeah, Kansas at home is who they play next week. But OU is bad, guys. They're really struggling to find an identity. Their defense is the worst, which is saying a lot because they've had some bad defenses over the years, worse than they've been in a while until they get their quarterback, Dillon back in there. It's going to be a tough go for the Sooners. So, West Virginia and Oklahoma can beat you, but they separated themselves as kind of those lower bottom of the totem pole type teams. While you got Kansas, Texas Tech, Baylor, and who's my other one? Who am I missing in there? Kansas, Texas Tech, Baylor. And then I don't know who. Iowa State. Okay, I'll put Iowa State. That's who. I'm sorry about the Cyclones. They're down kind of at the bottom. I put them maybe in that third hole, the seventh or eighth spot behind Oklahoma and West Virginia. But yeah, the other, I got Iowa State down there, and then I have those three teams in the middle, and then my four teams on the top, guys. We're looking Oklahoma State, TCU. Big game coming up next week with them. Oklahoma State traveling to Fort Worth, Texas, and Kansas State. I think those are, and I love that Tech beat Texas. We're right there with them, but it'll be interesting to see kind of how they finish out the year. Hate to say it, I think they could make a run, and that's it's unfortunate because that means that we're going to have to listen to them just go absolutely nuts on Twitter, despite them having already been there for so long, and they always tell us act like you've been there since they've been there for so much of their history, right? You think they'd know how to act after a big win, which I'm being a little facetious here because I think you should celebrate those wins, but I love talking shit to them because they're always clowning other fan bases for, getting hyped for beating UT or calling them your Super Bowl. So anyways, guys, with that being said, thank you all again. Remember to subscribe. I'm trying to think here. You got any more, final questions? I'll go ahead and get this queued up. Go ahead and ask away. Just to clarify, man, I set a bomb off with UT Twitter today, talking trash about them going absolutely nuts because they spanked, good for them, the worst Oklahoma team in at least 2 decades. And they're out there just talking endless shit. So it was what got me, and I think a lot of UT fans didn't appreciate the irony of it's on brand because you should celebrate this way. I'm not saying you shouldn't celebrate and party hard after beating a rival as bad as you did. You skunked them. That was awesome. But it's the ironic sense that they tell every other fan base, we're your Super Bowl. Texas Tech, we're your Super Bowl when y'all beat us. You guys wouldn't know what that's like. And that's why you're going absolutely crazy. Like, look at them. They beat us. They beat one good team and they absolutely lose it. Or they, the rush the field thing too. They're really clowning us for, didn't you rush the field against, U of H and Texas? Yeah, they were both ranked in the top 25, and we've been in the dark years for since Mike Leach left. I would argue, Tuberville, Kingsbury Wells, we were going through some dark times. Why wouldn't we rush the field? Why wouldn't we be excited to celebrate that? And not only that, but that's also not the dig that you think it is, right? Like I tweeted out, oh my God, players just absolutely hate celebrating with all the fans that rush the field. The coaches and players hate that, man. They hate that team spirit, that collective just energy in the stadium and that collective joy for winning a game, right? Now, they don't want to celebrate with fans and fans and alumni. Why would they want to do that? It's not why they came to Texas Tech, was to play in front of these people and get wins for them. So, it makes total sense. But it's just ironic to me that they would, tell us that. They give everyone else, all the Texas State and baseball, whatever. You can go down the list, talking all this trash about everybody being so hyped when they beat a good team, and then they turn around and they beat a bad team, a bad Oklahoma, and then act like it's, they just won the college, they just won the national championship, right? College football playoffs. So, yeah, man, that was, I guess they missed that. They must have not picked up on it, which no big deal. They've been giving us great, hey, thank you for the interactions on Twitter. We definitely enjoy that, helping us grow our brand, grow our following. But, yeah, man, how the tables have turned when they're acting a fool, which I support. But acting a fool, even though they've told us, hey, just act like you've been there, man. Don't I don't know why you guys, congrats on winning your Super Bowl. Well, it seems like UT just won their Super Bowl against OU. So just had to throw that in there. Always love giving a little dig to our, hated rivals, because yes, it is a rivalry. Hated rivals down south in Austin. So, all right, guys, with that, I'm going to go ahead and cue up Jane. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Really appreciate it. We're going to have probably take a break this week, not do the rip while it's a bye week. I'm going out of town, actually flying to Mexico on Wednesday. So I'll be going to a wedding this weekend. We're going to take the week off, but we'll still be putting out content. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. We're on all those. Be subscribed to our Ramblin' Raiders Media YouTube channel if you're watching right now. Also our Twitter. Dude, what am I doing? Spotify and Apple Pod. So many different social medias. It's hard to keep them all in line. Our Spotify and Apple Pod. Make sure you've subscribed to us there. You're following and leaving comments and reviews there as well. We're all over social media, so we'll be around. But we're gonna wait till next week against West Virginia to do the rip on Wednesday, and then we'll have some other content, some specialty content coming out later in that week as the boys take on Lubbock. So with that being said, y'all, let me pull this up and hope everybody's enjoying their Monday. Can't believe I just talked to y'all for over an hour by myself, man. Actually, who am I kidding? Yes, I can. I love Texas Tech. Love talking about the Red Raiders. All right, now we're going to Bluetooth. Let's see. Cam Nick said it's UT. If it can't be said in crayon, it's not worth explaining. I should have known that, and that's why I stopped responding to him, honestly, because it's like talking to a brick wall. But I just love the fact that they, little brother, and treat us like those West Texas distant cousins, little bro, you're no good. And then you put out a tweet like that, and boy, they get fired up, man. I mean, two of their biggest accounts quote tweeting it. They did not take kindly to that. So it seems like Texas Tech's on your mind a little bit. You get pissed off and you push back, and you seem to want to talk a little bit of shit when it comes to Texas Tech. I wonder why that is. I think it's because we've been kicking your ass in pretty much everything in 2022. I think we're 5-1 against them. We have been kicking your ass in baseball and basketball, and now football under in the Joey McGuire era is going to get on board with that too. So definitely a rivalry, and I think they're a little more saltier than they leave on, but hate to say it, the chef's riding with them. I think they're going to have a good rest of the season. Okay, here we go, y'all. Thank you again. Follow us. Make sure you're subscribed. Tell your friends and family, all your Red Raider acquaintances about us, guys. Ramblin' Raiders. We're going to keep growing. We have an exciting announcement about our website coming up here this week. Once we get that finalized, we're going to have new merch, new apparel in the shop. Get ready for that. Some write-ups. Our Ramblin' Raiders athletes. We're expanding. We're growing. Get on the Ramblin' Raiders train, the Ramblin' Raiders bandwagon, and we'll leave the haters in the where they belong in the past, in the rearview mirror, man. Because right now, if you're not on board, man, it's a shame, dude. Because Ramblin' Raiders, we're putting out just that primo, baby, that primo that y'all love. So with that, for like the 30th time, you gonna play? Oh, I bet there's an ad. No, we're good. With that, guys, y'all have a great week. Stay tuned. Follow us on our socials. We'll be putting out more content. Hope y'all enjoyed the episode tonight. Thanks for everyone that tuned into the chat. Subscribe to the Rip. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We love y'all. Get your guns up high, baby. We out. DJ Chef, baby. We'll see y'all next week.